Uh, I don't know whether he's present there, my friend and the principal, Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jha sahab. Please convey my regards to him also. And always a pleasure. I have had the opportunity to, I'm also a product of Delhi University. In fact, I studied in the college next door, Sri Venkateshwara College. And I used to see ARSD every day. And I had the opportunity when I was the Director General at IIMC. I had visited the ARSD College couple of times. Yes. And I'm really happy that, the IQAC ARSD College in collaboration with TLC Ramanujam College. I've visited Ramanujam College also time and again, and even online the couple of months back I addressed their conference. So two great institutions coming together to organize an FDP and resource refresher course on such an important topic that's quintessential educator challenges and opportunities in a changing world. This is all the more important because we have a national education policy in place where I keep saying that the NEP 2020 cannot succeed. No government can make it a success. No state, central government, no bureaucrat can make it a success. At the the most pivotal role has to be played by the teacher. Only the teacher can make it successful because of its flexibility, because of its the innovation, the focus on critical thinking and problem solving. The role has to be played by the teacher. So teacher is at the center of the national education policy. So it's a great event. Now let me come to my subject, that's media literacy, and which I believe is very important. I hope Syed, you don't mind if I occasionally sip a cup of tea, because you are not providing me one.
Sure, sir, you're most welcome to have your own.
So, now, let me come to the give you a context. We have infodemic right now. Because of this pandemic, there is a phenomena called infodemic. Now, infodemic is an overdose of information. This is an issue which has gathered, I would say, a lot of international agencies, including the UN Secretary General, the UNESCO Director General, WHO. They have all flagged their concern over what is called infodemic, or overdose of information. Now, what is happening is that because of this information overdose, people are unable to distinguish between the wheat and the chaff. This has been described as equally dangerous, if not more, than the pandemic itself. The second part, which is very important, I'll come and deal with it also, and that is the digital part of it. The digital transformation that has taken place. The advent of the social media in a big way. Now, as a consequence, earlier we used to have the newspaper readers and television viewers and radio listeners as consumers. But what this technological revolution has done or facilitated is that the user has become the generator of the content. So, like when you say that, it's a producer's market, it's a consumer's market. So that means a consumer has choices. In a liberal market, in a liberalized economy, you say that it's a user's, or consumer's market. But what has happened in the media sector is that it's not only become a consumer's market, the consumer has become the producer of the content also. This is the important part. Now the big question is that, is he trained enough to produce content? What is the kind of produce he or she is producing? Now, what this has led to is that everybody, from housewives to domestic helps to, you name them, there is no segment of society which is not actively involved, not just in using media but also generating content for the media. Students, senior citizens. I mean, there is this very popular, YouTube channel about a Dadi. Now, this Dadi and the Bahu, the spat that goes on between them, that has become very popular. You have Anupam Kher who talks to his mother, and that has gone viral regularly.
Daddy.
Yes. So, the senior citizens who perhaps have never used this have become generators of content. A lot of people are generating content all over. Now, obviously, what is happening is that, like they say, a bad fish can, really spoil the entire thing. So, all those anti-social elements, anti-national elements, regressive elements, fanatic elements, they have also penetrated this media with their own vested interests to promote their own ideologies and agendas. Now that is causing a lot of problems for the society as a whole. What the pandemic has done is that while political propaganda has always been there, I mean, since the days of Chanakya, we have, been hearing in his Artha Shastra the need for, creating, an information system to the psy wars or the psychological warfare in modern strategic, parlance. Today, and to the Hitler, his Goebbelsian propaganda. But what has happened today is that today it is directly impacting the citizens, which was not the case earlier. Maybe during elections there was an attempt to influence votes. There may be an attempt here or there to foment trouble between communities and all that. But what has now happened is that the impact is directly on the health of the people. People are being fed all kinds of information, so much so that in his Man Ki Baat in June, the Prime Minister spoke to a villager in Betul district of my state, Madhya Pradesh, and asked him why he was not getting vaccinated. And this vaccine hesitancy to a great extent has been caused by this bombardment of information. All kinds of information is there. Now there are two kinds of information which we need to know. I am sure most of our teachers know. One is misinformation and another is disinformation. Misinformation is when I pass on an information but I think that it is true. I believe that it is true, or I think that it is in public interest. It is in the interest of my relatives, my friends. I will give you an example. I am sure most of you came across that whoever uses a WhatsApp, that WhatsApp message, which went viral during the COVID-19 second wave, that if you put 2 drops of lemon juice in your nostrils, you will get cured of corona. Now imagine, wish that was true. We would not have lost so many fellow citizens, so many human beings, if it was just as simple as putting 2 drops of, lemon juice into your nostrils. Now, when a lot of people received it, they immediately shared it. I still remember during that second wave, I had some cold or something like that, or a headache. At that time, any cold or headache was considered, so dangerous. And there is this friend of mine who is a senior police officer. He told me that, "Arey, don't worry. You just take lemon juice, put it 2 drops in your hand, nothing will happen to you." He is a senior IPS officer. Now, obviously as a former journalist, my question to him was that, "आपने डाला है नाक में?" So he said, नहीं मैंने नहीं डाला, मेरे पास वीडियोस हैं. So he became a victim of this campaign, and that is called infodemic. So this misinformation is there. So when you get an information, you forward it, you like it, you share it, you tweet it, you retweet it, because you think that it is right, it is good, it is in the interest of my friends, relatives, so let me share with them. So his intention was not to harm me, his intention was to help me. But because he was not aware, then there is disinformation. Now what is disinformation? Disinformation is a planned, deliberate, conscious exercise. It can be a political, strategic, cyber. It can be anything. It can be a campaign by a group called anti-vaccinators who are in every country and who don't want vaccines. They describe every disease as they think that every disease has been created by the pharma industry, and the whole idea is to benefit the pharma industry. That is one theory that they propagate. And even during the HIV AIDS also, at that time also, they called it a big, pharma industry thing. So they say that it is there. So they will always be there. So much so that all kinds of theories. I was a member of the World Health Organization Polio Communication Review. I had travelled along with international experts from Finland and other countries to vaccine resistance areas, including Western Uttar Pradesh, including Hooghly in Bengal. And there also people were made victims of disinformation, wherein it was stated that this entire polio drops do boond zindagi ka was an American conspiracy targeting a specific population, and that this was aimed at if these drops are administered, the children would become infertile. Similar things were talked about the current vaccines also. In fact, a senior journalist friend of mine working in Amar Ujala, he is the state editor of the Uttarakhand edition, he told me that his reporters used to send him reports about how this vaccination can lead to impotency. This was a theory which was floated. So obviously the moment you say impotence, immediately there will be resistance. These kind of theories were floated all around. I am sure many of you would recall that during this pandemic, one interesting thing went viral. People like us were laughing, but many of them took it seriously. That post attributed a statement to a Nobel laureate saying that anybody taking the vaccine will die exactly within 2 years. This went viral all over the country. And please remember, this is not a phenomena confined to India. In United States, in Canada, in many European countries, infodemic has wreaked havoc. And you can imagine what kind of havoc it can have in a country with a huge semi-literate and illiterate population like ours. If that is the condition of advanced countries, you can imagine the ramifications in a country like ours. Let us not go by only that they are only semi-literate or illiterate. I was listening to Devi Shetty. Devi Shetty is one of the most renowned cardiologists in the country. He is chairman of the COVID Advisory Committee in Karnataka, and he runs an organization, a hospital chain called Narayana Hrudayalaya. Highly decorated doctor. They have a hospital in Delhi also, Dharamshila Narayana. This gentleman was saying that in his locality, in Bangalore, ultra modern Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of India, in plush upmarket area where his hospital is located, he said there were only 50% takers for vaccines. Why? Hesitancy. Vaccine hesitancy. Now this is because, so that means that it is not confined to literate, illiterate or semi-literates. This infodemic has made even the affluent, educated elite as its victims. I know of my fellow journalists, fellow teachers who did not get themselves vaccinated in the initial phase. They were also scary, so scared कि what would happen to them. Let us wait and watch. ये पड़ोसी ने लगाया है, 1 महीने बाद देखते हैं, अगर ये ठीक है तो तब तो लगाएंगे. They delayed. In the process, many of them got infected, and many of them got their visas also. Now, this is something that we need to understand. This impact of infodemic where you are not able to, it creates such a misconception in the minds of the people about health related issues. Now, political propaganda was there, I said. But this has a direct impact on the health of the citizen, like nothing else has. When people start believing in it, and this is not just related to, COVID-19. It is about a lot of other stuff that is happening. And this information that needs to be authenticated. And let me not blame the social media alone. I remember a few years back in the newspapers there was an article which said that if pregnant women eat chocolates, they will produce happy babies. So every caring husband started bringing bag loads of chocolates and forcibly fed their wives so that there can be happy babies. Because it appeared in some journal somewhere in the world, it was reproduced verbatim. So obviously the chocolate lobby benefited from it. Who benefited? The chocolate lobby planted these stories. Every lobby plants stories to suit them, their product, that this is good, and it gets planted. So, but the naive reader and the naive citizen, he or she is the most vulnerable. They fall prey. So then what is the solution? The solution is media literacy. And that is the topic that has been given to me. If you are not media literate, and what is media literacy? Is it something for media students? No. Media education is there for media students. But media literacy is for the common man. Everybody should know about the media. Because perhaps nothing in this world can match the reach of the media. Media is there in your drawing room, media is there in your bedroom, media is there in your boardroom, media is there everywhere, it is all pervasive. All permeating. From 5-year-old children to 95-year-old citizens are exposed to media like never before. And following this pandemic, what has happened is that today the entire humanity has got exposed to media like never before. Now, by media, am I referring only to news media? No. When I talk about media, I am talking about entertainment, I am talking about sports, I am talking about economy, I am talking about education, I am talking about every aspect of life. Certainly a 5-year-old child is not watching news. But the 5-year-old child is attending classes. And when he is attending classes, he is also attending a lot of other things on his mobile phones. He or she is today exposed to a high level of pornography, cyberbullying. There is a dark net about which the child, forget the child, even the parents are not aware of. I have been interacting with NGOs who tell me that in conservative families, adolescent girls are not able to talk about the changes in their body to their parents, as a result of which these young girls are talking to friendly agony aunts who are in most cases males pretending to be females, who befriend them on the net and ask them to show their body parts, and once they show it, they record it and then they start blackmailing these kids. This is happening. A lot of law enforcement agencies and NGOs are working on it, because the girl children are not able to share their feelings and sentiments with anybody in their family, either due to conservatism or because the mothers are working, they don't have time to attend and they cannot share it with male members. In Ahmedabad, a girl's cousin saw his cousin's nude pictures in a porn site, but he was shocked, though he knew that he will get a dressing down for visiting that site. But when he saw his cousin sister's photographs there, that was when this entire scandal came to light. He informed his parents and they in turn informed the police. And then this girl, she was dying from inside. Then only she said that she was being blackmailed because she accepted a friend request and then she started communicating with that person. You do not know when you are not there whom your child is communicating with. Today there are different games through which they are connecting. They are connecting and playing games with many unknown people. We are busy with our office routines, our domestic course. But the child is getting exposed like anything. There are a lot of pedophiles who are there in the dark net. Now, even the parents are not aware of the dark net. The same is happening to teenagers, adolescents, who are becoming vulnerable to a lot of fundamentalist, terrorist outfits who are using the net to recruit young people. Youngsters from a highly educated state like Kerala, they had the highest number of recruitments in India, not Kashmir, Kerala. They had the highest recruitment to IS. Through what? Through internet. This is the kind of stuff that is going on. All kinds of fake IDs, fake handles. People are being, every day I read reports in Bhopal newspapers or how even very successful businessmen have been duped by people whom they befriend on the net. All kinds of claims, all kinds of, financial frauds are happening. Cyber crime cells are there in every district police today. So through these platforms, what is media? Media is not just print media, electronic media, social media, digital media. Media means any medium through which mass is being communicated to. That's mass communication. So I remember when we introduced sex education in schools, we used to teach students about good touch and bad touch. I think we also need to teach them about good content and bad content. There is a lot of fake content which is circulating in media. Lot of fake content. How to check them? Images are being morphed. Audio is being doctored. Videos are being manipulated. Distorted content is being circulated. Pictures from Afghanistan and Iraq are being shown as pictures from Kashmir and Chhattisgarh. How do you recognize them as a layman, or do you get carried away? What happened few years back in Bangalore? Students from Northeast had to flee because of morphed pictures. They had to run away from there. That kind of sentiment was created. And where were these pictures from? These pictures were from Myanmar, not from India, not from Northeast. But they were morphed and put across. Lynchings have taken place across the country. People have been labeled as child abductors and killed. Religious people have been killed. All kinds of rumors are floated. It has become a tool to declare women as witches in the rural areas. Diane. And then they are killed and their property seized. This is how this media, no doubt, I am not against social media or digital media. In fact, I have always believed that digital media and social media has democratized the platform. It has become a voice of the voiceless. But at the same time, we should be aware that if untrained people, unskilled people use it, the kind of consequences that can happen. And that is what media literacy is all about. The entire focus of what I discussed with you was to emphasize on the importance of media literacy. Because there is a difference between watching film and appreciating a film. Similarly, there is a difference between watching content on media and understanding content on the media. They say that if you go to a film shooting, then you will not feel like watching a film. That is what they say. Because then you see how the takes, the retakes, how you think that the superhero has been fighting it out, whereas it is not the superhero, but somebody else, a stuntman who is doing that. Then you realize, oh, this is the hero. So, it's a duplicate who would be doing it. So similarly, it is important that you know what is media. How does it work? If you know this, for example, if you know that there is an image which has come on my mobile phone, how do I check whether it is correct or not? There is a process which is a very simple process, called reverse image search. You drag the image to Google and do an image search. Then you will exactly come to know from where it has been, picked up and then presented to you as something else. There are many other things to check. Fact checking is important. So fact checking is an integral part. So many rumors, so many things. Some media channels have started programs to check facts. The programs like viral search and all that. But how many facts can they check? They may pick up 5 stories and do research. But there are 5 million stories which are being put on your social media. How do you deal with them? So there is only one way. For the last, and maybe that is the reason why my friend Dr. Mubin invited me, I have been calling for a national media literacy mission in this country.
Yes.
This national media literacy mission, like National Literacy Mission, NLM or Rashtriya Saksharta Abhiyan, the Media Saksharta Abhiyan has to be launched. And right from school curriculum, media literacy has to be an integral part. So that even our children know what they are dealing with. We cannot deny technology for long. Please. We used to keep mobile phones out of our classrooms. And today we are giving mobile phones to our children, our students. Please use it so that you can study. Parents are buying mobile phones for their children. That is the only gift they ask for birthday. Give me a good iPhone, give me a good OnePlus. Huh? So today they are asking for that. Everybody needs a mobile phone. Everybody, you will find a rickshaw puller also. He is lying on his rickshaw and he is busy with his smartphone. Everybody is doing that. But are they aware of what is coming in? I'll wind this up with a small story. There was this personal staff of mine who one day suddenly asked me कि साहब आपने इंद्र का घोड़ा देखा है क्या? You won't enjoy it if I translate it into English. He said कि आपने इंद्र का घोड़ा देखा है? Have you seen Indra's horse? I said, so far as I know, Indra used to travel by Airavat only, the white elephant. Maybe now he has started traveling by horse, but where did you see? He said that it is there in the clouds, I have got the video. And he showed me a video in which actually using animation technology, somebody has, the lightning has been given the shape, amidst the clouds, the lightning was given the shape of a horse and it was galloping through the clouds. Now this was a harmless video, but imagine the power of that. If the same technology, the same animation can be utilized to manipulate, distort facts and lead to riots. Because people are vulnerable, they are not equipped to handle with this kind of thing. They are not aware of technology. So they fall victim to pornography, to propaganda, to recruitment, to brainwashing. All this happens. So media literacy is very important. So right from school curriculum, we need to have right up to college curriculum. In every university, college, wherever you are working, please don't consider media literacy as a course for media students, whether you have a media department or not. Every student should be trained in media literacy. They should know the basics of media literacy. And today, under the National Education Policy, there is a choice-based credit system, where the students can have media literacy as one of the electives, one of the options. So why don't we create content for that? So that every student gets the opportunity. In fact, in school also, they should know what is media. How does it work? What is the mechanism of media? How is content produced? What all things can be done? What is the difference between a trained reporter and another person, an untrained one? How do you distinguish between the two? What are the media platforms which are available? How to distinguish between an obscure, unknown site which can give a very sensational news and a responsible site. So the ABC of media, understanding media basic technology, content, structure, organization should be given to all the students. We are going through a very revolutionary phase in technology. Technology is changing by the day. Today is the time for, you would say that, for creating awareness, because we are being carpet bombed by information from all sides. How to distinguish the wheat from the chaff, how to make a difference, how to differentiate, how to make out the difference. This is important, because it is not just about truth and falsehood. It is about the lives of the people. That is important. That is something that you will have to remember. Because if wrong information is given, people can consume anything, not consume the necessary medicines that is required, not take the precautions. It can have a direct bearing on your health, on the society, on the country as a whole. So I think that I have already spoken for about an hour, 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So Dr. Syed, I can continue, but I think that there are questions and answers also, a session, Q&A session also. So I would love to address them. So very in short, thank you for giving me an opportunity to address the esteemed faculty members and research scholars from across the country, and I'm sure that they will take this in all seriousness, and they can stay connected through my social media handles. I put out a lot of stuff on media related issues, so they can keep themselves updated if this subject is of interest to them, and it would be an honor to come to your platform again whenever you invite me, because it is important that awareness is the key. We need to create awareness about media. That is very important. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so